Bruce Adams' comment and make sure that we've responded to what you're looking at here. So these are the public participation avenues. When I mentioned that we had a slide in here, all these opportunities, BLM started with the environmental impact statement. And first we had a public scoping meeting. That scoping meeting went from January 16th, 2018 to April 11th, 2018. So that was a long time period where we asked the public, provide your input for scoping. Once we got that input provided, then we prepared a draft environmental impact statement. Then in August 2018, we issued the draft EIS and monument management plan. Once that draft was issued, then there was another public comment period, 90 days for the public to review and then provide feedback to the agencies. So that's the public involvement piece. Cooperating agencies assisted the agency, and those agencies that Gary named would sit at the table with the agency, with the Forest Service, and we would walk through the range of alternatives and what we thought we needed at each step of the way. But at the end of the day, even with cooperating agencies at the table, BLM and the Forest Service has the final decision. We have to make the final decision which way we're going to go. But the cooperating agencies are very valuable to us. We have governor's consistency review and several other requirements that helps us make sure that we're all on track as we're preparing those plans together.
One thing about cooperating agencies is they, the role they play is that they have some special expertise that our agency needs during the process. And we actually established an MOU with them talking about how this will work. And they have, there is a sort of a non-disclosure agreement on deliberative documents. They actually get to sit at the table with our interdisciplinary team as we're working, and they can provide input, whether it's the state institutional trust lands, whether it's the San Juan County Commission, the city of Monticello or Blanding, or any of the other cooperators that we have. I think the Kaibat Band of the Paiutes, the Forest Service, of course, and the state of Utah group, Proclama Policy Office, and Mark, who's in the audience here. And they actually sit with us as we're working through these processes. And this administration places a high value on getting decisions made in a timely way so that we can move forward. We sometimes take an unbelievable amount of time to get a land use plan or an environmental impact statement done as an agency. And this administration set some policies in that constricted that time. And our cooperators understood that, and we had some intense work sessions with them going through what are the draft alternatives, what does the existing environment look like, what are the things we need to think about. All that was done after we had scoping and before we developed the draft. And then after the draft, and we had the shutdown that occurred, which we extended the time frame a little bit for our comment period. And so we've been working with the cooperators as now we're working with you all to prepare that next step in the process. And the cooperating agencies may not agree with the direction that the agency takes because, as was said, it reflects the policies of the administration, the regulations of the agency, the laws we operate under. And so we may be constrained to do something that cooperator might think we should do. They can still comment just like any other member of the public. And then we are in this kind of weird place of having comments, responding to the comments, explaining to them in a public forum why we're doing what we're doing if we're not taking that comment and moving it forward as part of our plan. And so that role is incredibly important to us in all of the documents that we work on, whether it's any kind of environmental document we work on a plan.
Hey, Gordon, do you have a...
Yeah, I was just going to say, I appreciate Commissioner Adams' question because I've wondered the same thing in terms of how our recommendations, what kind of weight they hold relative to the other stakeholders. And so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but how I've kind of thought through this in my own mind is that the value of the MAC is in bringing additional stakeholders to the table, right? So in some sense, the state and the county and a few others get 2 bites at the apple because we're here as part of the MAC, but also as a cooperating agency. But you didn't have private landowners and livestock permittees and outdoor recreation industry necessarily represented in those initial discussions with the cooperating agency. So I think that's part of the value of what we're doing is we get to sit around and have a conversation, discussion, and trying to come to some conclusions with additional stakeholders at the table who might not have been. And certainly the county and the state tried to represent different constituencies, but it's great to have everybody here that can give direct input from their perspectives.
And as it said on the one side, it's a citizen-based committee, right? So we do have a lot of other people that the agencies necessarily, as Ed alluded to, we're looking for particular expertise that maybe BLM doesn't have. The county may have socioeconomics, or the state may have socioeconomics expertise that we're really not dialed into that well. They worry about the constituents of their county or state. So yeah, exactly that. And now we're going to have other people are going to have voices that we're going to hear, and in a very formalized session, so that we have to essentially respond to it in some fashion, right? We're here, we've been told it's a priority. Ed?
And I think what Gordon said is incredibly important too. The charter, when the department and the White House approved the charter, there was a lot of thought as to who are the constituents. I think we had some comments on, we have 2 tribal members that's incredibly important, Bears Ears. I think they felt 2 tribal members and a commission would give us that full information. 2 tribal members who can bring their perspective to the remainder of the folks that the Department of White House. So you are the citizens, you reflect the things that this administration felt were critically important to us in the planning process. And so I think, Gordon, that's a great point, that your constituents had the opportunity through scoping and through comment periods to engage. But this is your time to reflect that and have that dialogue. Just as we talked about how powerful consensus is. When you bring that group together and we get consensus, it means you've listened to each other, you've reflected on it, and you can see and understand that other perspective as you're trying to engage too. So, great point.
You know, I worked on another project where it wasn't a monument advisory committee, but it was a very diverse group that a local community had pulled together. And it wasn't BLM's meeting, they just invited them to sit and listen and provide them feedback. And I think sometimes they thought at the end of the day that, oh, this is real easy. BLM, you just can't get it right. We'll get all them comments from everybody and we'll show you how to make this happen. Well, at the end of that